So next on stage, we have the pleasure to welcome another one of our customers, one that we have been co-innovating with for many years now. Javier Herraiz is Group Vice President, New Ventures and Experience Design at Santander Digital. He's here to share his experience building a single PFM instance in the Santander Group. Please join me in welcoming Javier to the stage.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Not so happy of being one of the things that separates you from the alcoholic drinks, but I will try to make this as interesting as possible. Okay, I sit in Santander in the global headquarters in the Santander Digital Division. My role is to build services or to leverage services that all the groups across the bank are going to use, so that we don't build things 10 times for each one of our markets, and we try to build some synergies. No? So, as part of these synergies, as part of these services, we start working around aggregation and categorization services about 3 years ago. Okay, I'm going to tell you where we start and where we are and where do we want to be. Okay. So where is Moneybit coming from? Moneybit is the platform that we use for aggregating and PFM and BFM services. Okay. Basically, Moneybit it's an application that is doing 3 things. First is aggregating customer assets, not only payments accounts, any kind of asset that the customer can have at any bank, and it's doing it across any market in which we are. So meaning that the customer in a single application can have accounts from Santander in Spain, from Santander in Brazil, or from HSBC in UK. Okay, so we do the aggregation no matter where the customer has accounts, as long as we have a bank in that market. The second thing that we are doing is control. Is typically PFM functionality. So we take the transactions from the credit cards and the checking accounts, and we categorize them, and we give the customer all the budgeting, the control tools, etc., that are within, in this case, the Meniga API. No, that is our partner for this implementation. Within this control, for example, we are able to categorize over 96% of transactions in Spain. There is a very good categorization ratio. We have a person in charge of analyzing all the rules coming from all the banks, all based on text rules, to ensure that quality control. And we are day to day experimenting new things, adding new functionalities. For example, the customer can have the possibility of taking a picture of a ticket and linking that picture to a transaction. That's not new, I would say, but we didn't want to have that as a service within the bank, so we integrate that, for example, with the private clouds of the customer, in Dropbox or in OneDrive or wherever the customer has that information file that he typically uses. And the third thing is the notifications, and it's probably the most important property of the application, because it allows the customer at 8 a.m. every day to get a notification if he has a low balance, if he has an unexpected charge, if he has gone over his budget for the month at a specific category or a specific merchant. And so that keeps the application alive in the sense that customer has incentive to go into the application and see what is happening here, what is happening in this account. And this is what makes the difference at the moment for the customer saying, where is the customer going to check his BBVA balance or his Santander balance or his balance at any other bank? He's using this application most of the times, because in this application, we are updating all the balances every night. So the customer doesn't need to go to each one of their applications to check the balance. He has entered here once, and he has the balance updated at 3 a.m. every day. So with this, as we thought we had a very good application, we went into pilots in 9 different markets. And we have pilots in which translating the application, changing the currency, and using the same backend, we were able to have application in a very short time, very fast, and very cheap in nine different markets. This was really new for the bank, as typically what happens is that if a bank wants to do a pilot, it's locally the bank that defines the pilot, defines the product, etc. We did this centrally, and it was very new for the market. What happens is that in terms of customer perception, all the pilots were very successful. The customer loved the possibility of aggregating banks. The customer loved the possibility of tracking expenses, doing budgets, etc. But although it was very, very, very successful, we have a lot of issues that we still needed to solve. The local banks were not willing to have a separate application for this. I mean, they say, okay, I have my mobile banking application. I don't want to have a separate application in the market. I want to control the user experience. No one better than me, Santander Brazil, know how the customer from Santander Brazil want to behave. There is also some resistance in terms of IT, of having a product that is not fully sitting on the premises of the market. There were different problems that we face and make us think, okay, maybe we are not in the right way. I mean, maybe the right way is not having the same end-to-end application, the same service to the customer in all the markets. Huh? So we needed to change and to find something that was cheaper, that was modular, that was flexible, and the local banks could say, okay, I want this, but I don't like these screens, I don't like this service, or I have this local vendor that can provide me this service cheaper. Okay? So we end up building the newest scenario for Moneybit. Okay? So from all the design thinking phase, the different implementations, the different branches that we have for the implementation in Spain, in Open Bank, we ended up in number 4 is number 3. Sorry, is all these pilots that I told you. So we ended up with an application that is ready to be launched in the market, but that we use exclusively for pilots. I mean, we have 2,000 people piloting the application, 2,000 people that test the different functionalities, new added services that we put there. We can put a service there 1 week, we can take it out the week after, okay? We use that application for testing. And what we have is we have separated all the services into 2 different ones. That's the aggregation and the categorization / PFM, BFM, okay? So that each market is able to say, I want aggregation, I want the PFM, I want the whole package, and we can design the product based on the market needs. This translated into architecture means that we have a backend, we have an instance that is able to source customer information from wherever the financial source is. Santander proprietary APIs, open banking APIs whenever they're ready, PSD2 APIs, screen scraping, proprietary APIs like in the case of PayPal. We're able to fetch that information into a single database. Okay, we're able to integrate with authentication system from Santander whenever they are ready. We're able also to do an application login with an email and a password. And all this, we have it ready for any currency and for any language. Okay, you will see here that there are typical PSD2 products and any other product that the customer can have in their bank. We should be increasing this list probably in the future with insurance and or with other products, maybe not exclusively financial products. The beauty of this is that in this system, in this backend, we're able to plug any partner that we consider or that the owner of the customer considers that is interesting for the service. So we're able to plug in Meniga for PFM services. We're able to plan Personetics to get inside. We're able to plan in companies that manage subscriptions or can manage cancellations to different services. Companies that are able to switch bank accounts or automatic payments from one account to another. I mean, whatever the company you can, or third party you can think of that can provide value to the bank, we can plug it here in a single global instance, and that company, once integrated one time, can provide the service to all the banks, or to all the Santander banks that require that service. And here, finally, we have all the different Santander banks that may use the service. But using the service does not mean to use the application. They can build the service the way they want. We have countries that say, I don't want to have aggregation. I just want to have my customer data. I want to have the Meniga PFM engine plugged in here, and I'm going to integrate this within my online banking. I don't want to have any separate application, and I'm not going to have the PFM in a mobile banking. So that's possible. There are other markets that say, okay, give me the end-to-end services. I mean, give me even the application. We can give the application. So we can give a customized implementation based on the market needs. Okay? But the interesting thing here for me is that we create a global instance in which third parties can provide value to our customers without needing to integrate with core banking system, without complex local integration. Just they integrate once, and through that integration, we can leverage that globally. So with this, what we're working now is in deploying this service to the different Santander markets in the world. Sometimes with more appetite locally, sometimes with less. And sometimes the market says, no, I have my local application here. I'm not interested in this. Fine. And with Moneybit, we have created 3 different things. With Moneybit, at the beginning, was our end-to-end application. We have created a software as a service platform that is serving the market. I mean, none of this requires a local IT installation in the market. All the services are consumed from headquarters. We build a standalone app, okay, in which we will be testing all the different services, all the different partners, all the different UX. We test it there, and we, at some point, maybe launching the application in the market in Spain. And last, we built a separate company. We built a Moneybit Limited that will be the owner of all these assets, and that will facilitate us all the processes, paperwork, and will build a clear perimeter of the service for the bank. To say, okay, is this profitable? Is not profitable? Are we saving money as a corporation, or are we losing money? Are the banks that are paying for the service sustaining the service? And that's the objective of Moneybit Limited. Okay? And last, to finish, for us, aggregation and PFM is between an opportunity and a mandate. I mean, for us, it's clear that the banks will not be alone anymore. I mean, PSD2 will offer unlimited possibilities to third parties to use customer data, and not only to use it, but also to initiate transactions. So we need to set the tools through which we can provide value to the customers, and as a group, we need to provide that value in the way that we can short as much as possible the time to market, and we can make the system as efficient as possible for the corporation. Okay? So the role of Moneybit is at the end to provide our banks these tools to enable third parties to leverage our data, to offer our customers value-added services, and to really not be limited to the products and services that we as a bank can deliver, but to the products and services that the ecosystem will be able to deliver to our customers. That delivery can be done through our application or can be done through the application of third parties. And our role is to ensure that our customers keep the relation with us, and even that relationship becomes stronger. Okay? So, we have questions? Easy ones, no?
I think there are quite a lot of questions to choose between.
Share some difference between markets. Yes, I mean, there is not such a thing of one app for all. I mean, one app is good for piloting, but for markets, the difference are huge difference. Argentina, the people have accounts in pesos and account in dollars. And has the same account number. I mean, this account with 2 different balances. That doesn't happen in other markets. In Denmark or in Sweden, we have the name ID or the bank ID that makes that the login process is a two-step process. So not a two-step, but we need to come with the intervention of the customer to do the login. So that means that we cannot have a batch process to fetch the balances at night that we typically do in other markets. No? I don't know, there are lots of difference. I mean, credit cards behave very different from in Europe, continental Europe, than in UK or in Argentina. No? I mean, countries with inflation tend to do more payments in installments, etc. So that changes a lot. Your main lesson from testing is that basically is that. I mean, that there is not a single application, there is not a single user experience that can fulfill the expectations of all markets. No? I mean, we need at the end to build a service and to trust the markets that know the customer to deliver the services and the user experience that they believe is better and is optimized for that country. Okay. How many countries are thinking about fully integrating experience? I would say that all the countries think about integrating user experience. I mean, the standalone app is very good at the beginning because it allows you to have a control ecosystem of customers using an application to track it, to measure, and to see that everything is working. One that is working, there is no reason why not to have that integrated in your online banking. I mean, there is no point in having the customer having a mobile banking application where all the transactions are there chronologically listed, and another application where all the transactions are listed chronologically, and you can have and you can track dispenses. You can say this is restaurant. You can say this is power. You can say, I mean, you can play with that. Why not playing with that in the Mayfin application? No? And I think this is all.
Very good. Thank you again, Javier.
Thanks, you
very much.